You're listening to the Quit Your Job in 6 Months podcast with Buck motherfucking Flogging. Listen carefully as Buck lays down a mesmerizing array of knowledge that can help you quit your job in 6 months or less and pursue your dream as a proud owner of a successful internet enterprise. Got a question for Buck? Go to quitin6.com/ask-buck. That's quit, the letter N, the number 6.com/ask-buck. Now get ready to enjoy the show.
Invincible.
All right, boys and girls, we're here today with John Schott, author of Superfood Shakes. Is that what it's called?
That's what it's called. It's got a longer subtitle, but something about living to like 1,000.
Yeah, and John's already a little bit on his way with quitting and doing his own shit, so to speak. But he's got a ways to go, so he's in a good point to have a conversation about where to go from here to hopefully make it happen. So what's the haps, man? What have you been thinking about since we communicated a little bit a few weeks ago? And you got any ideas? What's going on?
I do. We mentioned a little bit about the playing off of the Super Shake a little bit in the sense of building on a couple of ways of getting money from superfoods and a Super Shake course. I started looking at some of the Udemy stuff that you've been sending out and looking a little bit at that platform, because I think I can probably teach a bunch of courses on that platform and have some success in it. Like I have a lot of content in my head and in my experience and all that stuff, and I think Udemy could be a good platform to make like a Super Shake class, improve your lifestyle class, and some other things that I do, where integrate like the lifestyle stuff, how to maximize the stuff that you do in your house to look younger, feel better, including, body work and superfoods and supplements and all that kind of good stuff I've been working on for a long time. So I'm kind of looking into that avenue.
Well, cool. Just to fill everybody in a little bit, John here, his challenge is that he's a little bit of a jack of all trades, and while his primary focus is primarily in health and wellness, and he has a lot of information in that realm, it's so vast and it's so diverse that it would be very difficult for him to create one singular entity on some website and be limited to that. So he has a book out called Superfood Shakes. I think it's a great twist on smoothies. And it's a great book, and it did pretty well in its first month, but it's kind of fallen off.
Yeah.
But, he could easily create a business called Superfood Shakes and make that the sole focus, but it's a little bit too limiting for John, and John has a lot more to offer than that. What's cool about Udemy is you don't need to stick to one topic. In fact, diversifying out into several branches and wings of the same type of subject matter is great. And if you could have dozens of courses, or not even that many, if you could have a dozen courses over there, you're going to be a lot more successful than if you just have one. Same as anything else, really. Books and anything is pretty much like that.
Yep.
John, please don't yell at me, okay, buddy?
You can hear my son all the way over here.
I can.
You can?
I can. Your son is going to be broadcast to at least a few thousand people.
And
that'll be exciting.
And I thought I locked myself in here pretty good, but I guess that's not good.
It's okay. I won't let it distract me anymore. We'll just press right on through any shouts and screams that come through.
Okay.
So.
Thanks, man.
So you've been looking into Udemy a little bit, and I was just talking to Udemy, and obviously Udemy is a primary focus of mine right now because we just launched a Course Cowboy, which is promoting e-courses, many of which will be hosted on Udemy.
Yep.
And I do feel like we'll have a good vehicle to help you be successful because we will be able to build up a promotional powerhouse that'll help you launch your courses and get some students in there and get them showing up in the rankings over there. So that's a good time. I think that's a good partnership, a good pairing. So I had a question, though, because I was thinking more about this Superfood Shakes idea.
Okay.
How many, and just to fill people in, John recommends using a variety of different superfoods, okay, which is, various nutritional medicinals, so to speak, and putting those into blended drinks, which are more of like shakes and less of like smoothies. A smoothie is just kind of like a little bit of blended fruit. These shakes are a little bit more wicked and something that are more complete, tide you over, very delicious, more like a milkshake with superfoods in them. The best of the health world meets the best of the junk food, so to speak, in a sense. But
yeah.
So how many of these superfoods? I know you have a ton that you recommend in the book. Is it like 30 different ones, 40 different ones?
Well, there's a lot of recipes, but there's a section that I called it specifically for, what I think you're getting at is the last 5 shakes you'll ever make or something. And those are meant to be, they're 5 recipes, but it's mostly as a plug-and-play framework of making, like, nutritious drinks. Because, the amount of variations and different recipes and things like that you can make is, like, endless, depending on who you are and what kind of amount of things you want, so forth and so on. But I'm focusing on using, very, not a lot. I don't want to chart, like, the idea of the book is also to get people in the mindset that, there's tons of superfoods, quote unquote, out there, and there's, you look at, I don't know if it's cool to name him or not, but like somebody like David Wolf, and he has a company where he has like, you go on his website, there's like 10,000 different superfoods, and they're all the best ever, And most of those you can't afford. Most of them, they don't mix well with each other. Most of them are not necessary, to be honest with you. And I focus on maybe like 3 to 5 ingredients that I think are staple in creating a really super nutritious drink, like, a grass-fed whey that's undenatured with colostrum, dark chocolate, coconut oil, and a couple other things, ghee and things like that. So that's the starting point for most people. I tell them there, you don't have to use my recipes. The idea of the book is for you to kind of go nuts with what you like. But there's a set of principles in the book that kind of, create a really good sound launching pad to creating, drinks that are actually nutritious and that can actually replace a meal. Or, a lot of people do detoxes, and I don't like juice detoxing and master cleanses and all that stuff. If somebody's going to do a quote-unquote detox, I actually like to see them drink more like the superfood shakes that I'm suggesting in the book, because it still gets the job done, man. And at the same time, you're actually nourishing the body and not depleting it and stressing it out and raising cortisol and all this other stuff by just drinking 500 calories of juice per day for like 7 to 14 days or, all that kind of stuff, which is very popular now, which is kind of business-wise, I guess I'm like, I don't know if I'm shooting myself in the foot, but the thing is I'm not, because I'm like, the stuff that I put out into the field is stuff that I use, is stuff that I want other people to use and not so much sell them something because it makes money,
Yeah, I get that completely, and I understand the David Avocado Wolf model, business model very, very well. The guy's a friggin' millionaire. I mean, he's done extremely well.
Yeah.
But I was under the impression that you were talking about at least, somebody left a review talking about how you have all these expensive things that you recommend putting in there and blah, blah, blah. And I was assuming that you did have a good list of
non-expensive things, yeah.
Yeah, not necessarily non-expensive, but just exotic, medicinal substances. Not the full collection, not the full David Wolf collection, but I was under the impression that you did have.
I do use
some things.
Colostrum is not cheap, and
yeah.
And some recipes call for 1 to 2 tablespoons of colostrum, and if you make a shake a day, you're looking at spending maybe anywhere from $50 to $100 a month in colostrum, but But at the end of the day, I mean, I totally got that review. I mean, I don't think it deserved a 1 star.
Of course not. Well,
but I did see her point. I was like, dude, I know what you're talking about. But at the same time, if you actually study the book, you see that there's a spectrum of, you don't have to buy just colostrum. You know, you invest in one thing, and then, you know, making these coconut milks and almond milks that I actually teach in the book are actually very cheap. And then you can make different, you know, smoothies based on your budget too. I mean, that's actually maybe a good thing that happened, because it could be an opportunity to take the Superfood Shakes, get us a really good product and fit it into somebody's budget, but still get, you know, the same bang nutrition-wise and all that stuff. So it could, you know, I don't know. I take all that stuff with you know, a open mind, and don't take that stuff personal.
Yeah, well, you're quite a mature human being. I can't really relate. No, I'm just kidding. And I get that completely. I was just curious, because I thought if you were talking about 30, 40, 50 different exotic ingredients, that it would be a situation where you could create a lot of content for each different ingredient, and people who are interested in a lot of these ingredients would be finding your videos and your sort of abbreviated blog posts on a website, and, you know, you can start to drive people in to take a course where you're showing people how to make these things, or you have, you know, a variety of different products, nutritional coaching, etc. Who knows? But I was just curious, because I was going to pitch that out, but it sounds like I got the wrong idea about what your book is all about, and I'm very pleased to hear that it's not like that. But I certainly saw a clear path to financial success if it was the David Wolf version.
The David Wolf version. I mean, there is enough there to play on different ingredients. Now, don't get me wrong. Like, you know, there's enough set of ingredients that are pricey enough. I mean, to kind of not twist it, but spin it that way. Even though that's not my intention, there is enough material there to create content enough for each superfood and all that stuff, and build on it. But the thing is, you know, like where I have, so coming back to that, where I think I have a lot of challenges financially in the field that I've been working on for the last 10 years is precisely that. I mean, I see so much content online that is free, and it's not really that hard to find out a simple message that can give you a good, how do I say it, a good amount of information on an ingredient, for instance. Like, if you look over a lot of the stuff that I put there, or like my first book. The first book is called Health Made Simple. It's really very simple. It's very simple read. The value of that book, I think, it's in the resources, because it kind of fast tracks the person into the meat and potatoes of the health field, to say it that way, and not spend 10 years trying to discover this stuff. But the book, it's not rocket science. Like, I'll be the first one to admit it, you know? So that's kind of the challenge that I personally have. I don't know if it's a limited set of belief that I've created for myself, but, you know, like I can't do what David Wolf does, you know, which is capitalize on, because it's really not that hard to find his information without having to pay for it.
Sure.
So I don't know.
That's what I was thinking. I was thinking that you know, you would put out information, and people would find that information, and they would become curious about those supplements, substances, superfoods, etc., and then they could find their way back to your website, where maybe you had a storefront, either selling them under your own product line, or a private label, or even as an affiliate for a company that sells those things. So I kind of envisioned that, but that was a little bit something I had more in my head when I was envisioning it being more like a David Wolf type of setup. So we kind of scratched that idea, I think, unless, you know, I mean, I think you want to capitalize wherever you can. So if you have a book called Superfood Shakes, and you are planning on putting a course on Udemy that sort of demonstrates it, why not be the person that they go to buy the colostrum and the coconut oil and the dark chocolate from it and so forth? There's no reason why they couldn't just buy it from you. I mean, it does undermine your credibility ever so slightly to be like, colostrum's really good for you. By the way, I sell it.
Yeah.
You get into the Mercola territory. But again, we're talking about David Wolf. We're talking about Dr. Mercola. We're talking about some of the wealthiest people in the natural health movement.
Yeah.
So there are lessons to be learned. And clearly, the money that you make from the sale of those products or the affiliate commission that you get from the sale of those products, clearly that outweighs the undermining of your credibility and the damage that does, because those guys have risen to the top.
Yeah.
Despite being, especially in the case of David Wolf. David Wolf is, completely crazy. Mercola is not quite all the way there, but they're certainly both thought of as being kind of charlatans. Yeah. But they're very successful, so there's probably a way to blend charlatan with success, with integrity, and have success be the result. Yeah. So anyway.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. My integrity outweighs, the other part, which is it's kind of a double-edged sword. A lot of people trust me, like in Miami where I'm at, and with the history that I've had in this place, with my previous business and my health advice that I give them that comes from, my experience, but my heart as well. They feel comfortable talking to me about all these things and all these layers, and that means a lot to me, like that they actually trust me enough to say, okay, I'm actually going to follow some of your advice here. I don't take that for granted, which and then I don't cut corners and all that stuff. So, that was one of the primary reasons why I had to let go of my own restaurant that was doing really well, and was thriving for 5 years, and I built it from the ground up, and it's just the integrity of the partnerships that I came into wanted to go some other direction. So I was like, no, well, that's enough. I could probably be making a lot more money right now, but so that's been kind of the challenge with my own success financially in this field. Yeah. And that's what I love. That's one of the reasons I reach out to you and love what you're doing with the new business, the Quit in 6, and because I think I fit in there somewhere. And I have 3 kids, and it's not knowing where the rent money is going to come is not really an option anymore. It's like It's like there's 3 little humans that I'm responsible for.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, you take money a lot more seriously when you have other people's well-being that's attached to it. Well, I'm going to say quite a bit coming up, because I have a lot of thoughts to share with you. Okay. But the first one is, I just want to make sure that people listening, and this is not necessarily a sermon to deliver directly to you, John. Okay. But I talk about this a lot because I understand people's sensibilities around money, because everybody hates the money-hungry scammer, right? Everybody hates people who do things motivated only by making money with no real care about what the outcome is. That's why we talk trash about Mercola or David Wolf or something like that, because they're clearly motivated. To me, David Wolf is in a whole league of his own, but again, he comes out with a blender and he expects not to be criticized for being he did an infomercial, for Christ's sake. So, of course, he's going to be under fire for being a money-hungry scammer. But I think it's important to embrace the money aspect. And I know that you're not motivated by it directly. It's more of an indirect bonus that you get for being motivated by something pure and wholesome and building trust with people, and that's how it should be. But I do want to make it perfectly clear that money has to be something that you face head on. Yeah. So you have to think about the money component, and you have to make very smart decisions, and you have to realize that money is the greatest fuel with which to blow up and expand what you're doing. So if you want to reach a lot of people, you want to help a lot of people, you want this information to get out there, There's nothing better on your side than money and having good financial fundamentals on your website, which means when you get somebody that comes to your website, you make quite a bit of money off of that person. You turn the leads that you get, the interest in you and your things that you're doing. If you're able to turn that into a lot of money, then you can have advertising, you can hire people to help, you can have an affiliate program, and people will be tripping over each other to promote your stuff because it converts, it works. They're going to make a lot of money if David Wolf will promote your stuff because it's going to help them make a lot of money, right? So I think there needs to be money hunger, and I think people need to be thinking of how to capture revenue at every possible corner as long as they can stay authentic in the process. And I think that there's so many ways to do that. And I think people have a tendency to be the black and white thinking, where either it's good to think about money, and money rules, or it's bad to think about money and money is evil. And it really should be a middle ground. So anyway, I'll move on from that and get down off my soapbox about that. But I just wanted to mention that before we get into some territory here about money specifically. So, all right. So here's the thing. When I was writing for 180 Degree Health and I was doing things, I noticed one theme again and again and again and again. And that was every time that I stumbled upon something new, people got so excited. And they got excited because I was excited, right? I found out about resistant starch, and oh, wow, this is so incredible, and it explains so much. I'm going to write and make videos about resistant starch and get really excited about it. And then everybody was really excited about that for a couple months, right? And then I move into something else, and every time there was something new that came along, people were really interested. So anytime I was interested, they were interested. The audience was always a reflection of me. And now that I'm not that excited anymore, it's not like people are like so excited about 180 Degree Health anymore, because nothing is coming out to people as this brand new discovery. But when it was new, it was exciting. And when we had earlier discussions, you mentioned that you just love researching health.
Yeah.
And to me, that I like to hear that, because when you're researching, you always stumble across new things. And while it's overly hasty and irresponsible to read something and then the next day talk about it like it's the greatest thing, you just have this massive new discovery that's going to change the world. I wrote like that for a while because I was immature in my thinking for a while, and then I stopped doing that. But I think it's good that you like to research and that you like to keep coming out with new things. And I think that enables you to research about something, write about it, make a course or some videos out of it, maybe set up a few places where people can make any kind of purchases related to that discovery. So, for example, if you're doing research on resistant starch, you can sell a resistant starch product, or you can create a book about it or something along those lines, or a video course demonstrating you making recipes that have a lot of resistant starch and the benefits of that. I don't know. But you can do that and develop that, and then you can move on to the next thing.
Right.
And then you can move on to the next thing. Now, of course, you're going to start with things that you've already known, because you've already put a couple of decades of research into health and wellness. Mm-hmm. And you already are a wealth of information and resources. So I think it would be good and wise for you to probably take the Superfood Shakes and do something like what I just described.
Yeah.
And I think it would be good for you to, pick up on something else like water, right? I know that you're really into water, pure water, and proper filtration. There's no reason why you can't write about it, maybe do a course about it, about how to install it, where to get it. I don't know what you can do. You know what it is that needs to be shared and how it can be shared. And I think going through and creating several of those things and continuing the creative process, you're always creating things. I think you're going to start to accumulate revenue as you do that, and you're going to be able to achieve success. But I do think what is going to make the difference for you, especially in the short term, is offering coaching
Okay.
Right? Coaching is what people pay more money for than anything else.
Okay.
Okay? To me, the hierarchy of what people pay money for, the lowest is when it comes to informational digital products. The least valuable is a book. Slightly up from a book would be some kind of workbook, right, where it's actually a little bit more interactive and, you know, there's something more there besides just the book. And then above that is a course or a class always has a higher perceived value. And then above that is some kind of one-on-one coaching. Somewhere in there on that spectrum is some kind of membership type of thing, but that's not really appropriate for everyone, and sometimes it's a little bit of a stretch to come up with some kind of membership base. But if you can throw that in there with it, that's great too. But just talking specifically about coaching, somebody with that already has a wealth of knowledge already built up should definitely be coaching, because somebody who finds you and is interested in you and likes you, and like you just said, your skill that reigns supreme above all others seems to be your ability to create trust.
Yeah.
And you create trust because you're a really heartfelt, genuine, soft-spoken guy that people know instantly is genuine. And that skill is so valuable, and it's going to make people want to work with you because they're going to feel comfortable with you, and they're going to feel like you're somebody who's going to give them the honest truth, and they're also going to feel like you're somebody that's really going to care about them. Yeah. And they want that. And I know that you, John, can give that to them, and you should be. Now, a lot of people don't like one-on-one coaching, and almost every internet business owner is only coaching until they don't have to anymore.
Yeah.
But almost everybody does coaching to start out with, because let's say you get somebody really interested in you. They take one of your courses, they read your book, maybe they see, you know, some other videos that you've done, and they just get this good vibe about you, and they need help. If you don't have that coaching available for them, you're leaving hundreds of dollars on the table that you could have captured. And 1 out of 100 may be interested in doing coaching with you. And if you have a coaching series that's hundreds of dollars, and maybe even more than that, maybe even as much as $1,000, and you give them this really premium experience, and you answer all their emails several times a week, you're answering emails, you're on the phone with them, you're giving them recommendations, you're sending them, I don't know, some colostrum at cost, you know, doing everything that you can to help them out, giving them the premium experience. That could be worth over $1,000 to give them that kind of experience. And not everybody can afford that. Not everybody will want to do that. But if 1 out of 100 do, you've just added $10 revenue per subscriber to your bottom line. And $10 revenue per subscriber is enough to have a successful internet business. If you can find a way to create fundamentals on your site where you can get that amount of revenue per subscriber or more, you can't fail. It's virtually impossible.
Okay.
If you need to make, let's say, just to survive, I mean, obviously the sky's the limit on what you can make, but if you just are talking about enough to survive to where you can really focus on this, $100 a day is great. That's a great start. It's not enough to live well, especially not with a family, but it's enough to keep from having to live out on the streets for most people.
Yeah.
If you're getting $10 revenue per subscriber, that means you only need 10 subscribers a day to get to $100 a day. It's a very, very easy and achievable goal that everybody knows is possible.
Okay.
Right? I mean, I haven't written a blog post on 180-degree health in a couple of months. And I've shared like 5 things on Facebook over the last couple of months. I've been incredibly inactive over there. And I still get 25 email subscribers almost every day. Right? It's very easy to get 10 subscribers a day, or 20 or 30 or 50. It's not even that hard to get that many. But if you're getting $10 revenue per subscriber, and you get those 10 or 20 or 30, you've got yourself a completely self-sustaining business and you have an advertising budget. I mean, you could get leads for $4 and make 10 on them. Boom. Great. So, and coaching is going to increase that revenue per subscriber probably more than all the courses and books in the world that you can create.
Okay.
Especially knowing you and your personality and your wealth of knowledge that you already have. You already have expertise, and you're good at building trust with people because you're an honest, nice, likable, genuine guy. You're also a healthy-looking, vibrant-looking person, which makes you a great fit to be in this health and wellness space as well. So I think you have all the components. I think you have all these things going for you. It's just a matter of creating the right setup so that when you go out there and you go to tell people about what you do in your books and your courses and whatnot, you have a way to get them back to your website where they can pursue coaching, where they can buy products from you versus buying them from somebody else.
Right.
And there's just no reason, John, why you can't create a great foundation on a home base. It could be johnschott.com. It doesn't have to be something that limits you to shakes.
Right. Yeah, I don't want to.
Right. Right. So you could be shot in the arm.com. I don't know. You could be, whatever. Bulletproof John. You can be whatever you want. But you could brand yourself and just keep it very simple. It doesn't have to be miraculous branding. Even just johnschott.com or Ask John or I don't know. I'm sure you'll think of something. But if you could send people to that location, hey, you could create a very successful business, and you got that foundation. Then you go out and you start telling people about what it is you do. You dabble a little bit on social media. I promote one of your courses through Course Cowboy. You write a couple more books. You do a little bit of this. You do a little bit of that. It just doesn't take that long if you have a good infrastructure and a good foundation. If you're getting $10 per subscriber in revenue or more, and you only need to get 30 or 40 people back to your website a day to get those 10 email subscribers or more, then the formula is very, very simple. It's very easy. And just like, I don't know if you saw the video I shared a couple weeks ago, but Isabel Fox and Duke, she makes $30 revenue per subscriber, and all she does is coach. She doesn't have any courses or books or anything else for sale, no memberships, no this, no that, no supplements to sell or superfoods to sell, no storefront. All she does is coach. And that's enough to get $30 revenue per subscriber.
Who's that? No, I haven't seen that video.
Yeah. It's on my YouTube channel. I'm not sure if I've posted it on the site yet.
You have.
Yeah, but it's go to the Quittin' Six YouTube channel.
Okay.
And it's there, but it's Stop Fighting Food.
Oh, okay.
Okay. If you go to stopfightingfood.com, that's Isabel's site, and she makes $30 per subscriber that she gets. It's incredible. And it makes it so easy. And affiliates are like tripping over themselves. Like, I got to promote this.
Right.
So it's so much easier than people make it out to be. But if you take a few steps, I think John, for you, if you create the storefront where you have some things to sell and you do some coaching, you can go out and write books and you make some money off of that. And you can create courses and you can make some money off of that. And both of those things, you basically will be getting paid to advertise yourself. Because people will have to buy your book or buy your course, and that will be your advertising for your website where you have those other items. And to me, that's a complete business. And a complete business that'll get great revenue per subscriber, you create that and you can't fail. It's impossible. Because you could just you get a credit card and just buy all the leads you could ever need to make all the money that you need. That's the ultimate business. Plus, you got me. I'm building great promotional resources for a guy like you.
Yeah.
And so what matters the most, don't forget about how the people will get there. I'll send the people there. All you have to do is create a great foundation and a system that works, that capitalizes on the opportunities that are created whenever somebody finds you, they like you. You have to have a set of solutions for them that capitalizes on their kinship that they feel towards you. That's how you create a successful business, and I know that you've got it in you.
Okay. Where could I look towards so I can see a model that will kind of help me get that foundation you're talking about? Because my deal is not the details. Like you said, I have so much information inside. It's that foundation and system. Because I already have a website, but it's like...
What's your website again?
It's called shotswellness.com. And, that site is sort of built to be what you're describing.
Yeah, let me take a look at it.
Yeah.
People listening, that's Schott is SCHOTTS.
Wellness.
Wellness.com.
And then, I don't know, it's just I always get frustrated with my website because it doesn't have that, what you're describing. Like, it's a lot of stuff that's kind of all over the place and doesn't hone in on something that can turn into,
Okay. I see. Yeah, I see that you do have those things there. You do have services and coaching. I probably should look at this to begin with. Okay. Well, first of all, I will say that the site looks nice. It has good aesthetics. Shots Wellness is pretty general and enables you to have a variety of things. But there's one major problem with this website.
Okay.
I don't want people to come there and browse.
Right.
Okay? I don't want people to come there and just kind of look through the shop, and then they look at your About page, and then, they just kind of check things out. And they're seeing that you have all this stuff before they're ready to hear about it. Right?
Yes.
Now, if they've read your book, do you have any sales of the Super Shake delivery or any coaching that you've got lined up at all? Are you making any money off of this site?
Not of that site, no. The money I'm making right now is here in Miami. It's actual, like, me delivering shakes to people, me going out there in the street, talking with, a gym that buys shakes from me, and I make them and deliver. And I have, like, 10 clients that are, like, hooked on my shakes, and they order every week. But it's, how much time I'm, like, dedicating it to driving, delivering, and doing all
Oh yeah.
stuff.
Oh, and you're just very limited to what you can do, and I appreciate being able to work with people in person. I'm not like, it's got to be on the internet or anything like that. But there's just so many more opportunities. I'm going to look up. Do you have any idea what kind of traffic you get there?
No.
Daily, Joe?
No, and it's probably not much, if any.
I'm looking up your Alexa ranking right now, which gives you a pretty good assessment, and it's basically 0.
Yeah.
You have one site that links in, and the visitors on your site are showing really no time spent at all, so they kind of click and then click away.
Yeah.
And your global rank is 25 million, which is about what the rank that you get when you fire up a new website that you just started.
Right.
Okay, meaning that you haven't gotten any traffic yet. Okay, so that's fine. You're basically at ground zero with this.
Yeah.
What I would do is create some great thing that you can give people for free. Okay. That can be one of your courses that you could do. Instead of putting it straight on Udemy, you could make it free. Or if this Superfood Shake book stops selling, we could make it free, and you could put people enter their email address to get that book for free.
Right.
And I think that's a good gateway. Not everybody is going to want a Superfood Shakes book.
Yeah.
Because there are going to be other things that you talk about, so that may not be the best fit for you if you're wanting to talk about a diverse array of different things.
Right.
I mean,
which is what I really want to do.
Yeah, if you do a course on some kind of exercise, and then you say at the end, go to my site and you can get my Superfood Shake book, it's a little bit out of sync with what you're doing. So be thinking about something awesome that's appeals to a wide group of people, that's wellness-based, obviously.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can figure out something that we could create for those people. that you can give away for free. And then I would make this whole website. I would cover up everything, the blog, the services and coaching. You have all these pages on the site, but the home page is really all that needs to be changed.
Yeah.
And I would change the home page and just make it a really good, high-converting lead capture page to where, for example, if you go to quittin6.com, new visitors that land on that page, 50% enter their email address.
Well,
it's awesome,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
I mean, I send 50 people to the site, 25 become email subscribers, and if I make more than $10 revenue per subscriber, then I'm already at $250 a day. And all I'm doing I'm actually getting 30 email subscribers a day passively just from the free book that's out there.
Yeah.
That's it. So, and maybe a few trickle in already, starting to come in from YouTube and Facebook and stuff, but not many. But the point is that those email subscribers are worth a whole lot. And once you get them in for that freebie, then you can start having a more and more intimate communication with them. And you could talk about, you could tell them that you have the store. You could write an email that's dedicated to the things that they can buy on your site. And they can go to the shop to order that stuff.
Yeah.
And they can find out. Or instead of going to your shop, maybe you just tell them about one thing at a time. So maybe you talk about the water filtration stuff that you're into on one.
Yeah.
And then maybe the next one you talk about this wild milk coconut half-gallon that you got on there.
Yeah.
You could sort of feature things. And you could spread these emails out 4 days apart so that when people subscribe, they start to get that again and again and again. And each one could be, really well thought out. You could take them through a process. People might find you on Amazon or something, and then they come back and subscribe on your site. They read this free book, and then they find out about your courses, and then you have a chance to sell their courses. If there's books that you like, you can just say, hey, this is a really great book. It's not even by me, but this is a great book I think everybody should read. Or you could do a specific email that goes out saying, here are the books that I recommend, and you put John Schott's Wellness Top 10 Health Books, and you use affiliate links for each one of those.
Yeah.
And boom, you make a little bit of money every day because of that. You're creating revenue at multiple turns. There's so many different things that you can promote. But you really want to be walking people through the process in the right sequence.
Yeah.
So you don't want people to land on your website because they saw something like you tweeted. They're not going to see that services and coaching and then sign up.
Yeah, they're not. No.
They don't know anything about you, and they're not going to get to know anything about you if you don't get their email address and start to build a relationship with them. There's so much out there. There's so many people clamoring for their attention.
Yeah.
You don't have that loud, bold, in your face, I refuse to not be heard David Wolf type of style. So I don't think you're the type of person who can go out and create this huge ruckus on the internet and drive just absolute shitloads of traffic back to your website. I don't think that's you.
So I can't be the next Durian writer?
I don't think you can be the next Durian writer. I'm sorry about that. But, maybe the next Freely.
Do I deserve to live? I don't know.
Yeah, we could. Yeah, exactly. You just declared that you're not worthy. And this colostrum thing, I can't wait till they take shots at you. If they ever do take shots at you,
I know I've made it.
If they take shots at Shots Wellness,
I know I've made it, man.
Then you know you've made it.
I've made it.
It's like getting your song redone by Weird Al. But yeah, I think that will give you a chance to actually get their attention and build a relationship with them, and they can get used to buying products from you. You can launch new books and new courses to them that'll be helpful based on the ongoing research that you're doing, and they'll be there to help support you and check that out. Especially if you treat them well, you give them a great price on everything, you make them feel special.
Yeah.
And a certain percentage will want and be able to afford your premium John Schott experience where you just treat them like it's your, like like it's a family member of yours, and you're trying to help them through their health problems.
Yeah.
And that's worth a premium price, and that will add tremendous amount of revenue per subscriber and create something that you can scale and something that can be very successful. So, but that's really easy to create, that one-page homepage like a Quit in 6. And you can still put stuff on the back end and share it on social media and do that whole content marketing hustle if you're so inclined, which I think books and courses, if you keep publishing new books and new courses and you've got a little promotional help from your buddy on the inside, you're not going to have to do all that hustle, and you're not going to have to be the guy behind the bullhorn trying to get everybody to notice them.
Right.
So, cool, man. Well, any other questions while you got the legendary Buck Flogging on the line?
No, man, this is really helpful, and I'm excited about it. I think my main thing is to try to figure out a way of actually setting that foundation, like you said, setting one that works, and then trying to figure out what coaching. That makes perfect sense, and honestly, like I feel like I'm a really good coach to people.
Yeah.
So I've done it before. Sometimes my thing is that and it might be a limiting self-sabotaging thing, but I feel like I almost feel sometimes that people who I'm quote-unquote coaching know as much as I do, and I'm just giving them information they already know. And I know that's not true, Like, to me, a lot of times I feel like, oh, man, they don't know that they have to, like, drink good, clean water, or they don't know that they have to, like, do this and that, or sleep a good amount, and all this stuff. And
everybody needs refocusing on the fundamentals.
Yeah.
And everybody needs the They're coming to a coach more for motivation. Like, people seek out personal trainers not because they don't know how to do a bicep curl.
Yeah.
But because they want that motivation, they want that accountability, they want somebody there they want to feel like they're part of a team as they're going through that process and not just doing it all on their own. And that's a big part of it. And I'm telling you, you have a very caring, this sort of caring and compassion and genuine interest in helping people just emanates out of you.
Thanks.
It's like beams of light coming out of your ass. No, but I'm sure anybody who's listening to this and hearing just the sound of your voice and the way that you communicate can tell that you are 100% authentic. And, I mean, people are going to really want your coaching if they find you. That's the key. And I think the key to them finding you, the books and the courses and a little help from Uncle Buck, and I think you're there.
All right, man.
And I really like the aesthetics on your site, so I feel very confident that whatever you do in terms of site redesign or anything like that, I feel like you have good taste. And
thank you, man. Yeah.
I'm pretty excited about that as well. I feel confident that you can get it done.
Awesome, man. I'm gonna get to it, like ASAP.
Cool, bro. Well, I'm here to back you up. So
thank you, man.
Just work on creating good quality stuff and a great process for people to go through when they find you. Make sure that when people find you, you find a way to direct them all back. Every direction leads back to that website where they can become email subscribers, and then you can basically form a circle, right? They find you, they subscribe, and then that helps the performance of your books and your Udemy courses. And then your Udemy courses and books, they perform better, thus find more people. And then those people find you, come back to your website, and it's a big circular pattern. It just keeps growing and growing and growing the more that you repeat that process of putting out some new material.
Awesome. Sounds great.
Which I know is a great fit for you because you like continually learning and researching and doing new stuff. You're not just trying to be the Superfood Shake guy who talks about the benefits of coconut oil for the next 30 years of your life.
Yeah.
Thank God for that. So
yeah.
Hey, John, thanks a lot, man. And
thank you, brother. And
I appreciate it, you taking the time and being cool with being recorded and everything.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's a great value to other people.
I hope so too, man. I hope people get a lot from it, as much as I'm getting from you and this exercise. And I look forward to the next book and everything else, so I can keep on learning, man, and get it out there like we've been talking about. I'm excited.
Cool, man. Well, I can't wait for an update, and we'll see how you're doing in a few months, and we'll get you there, buddy.
All right, brother. Thank you, man. It means a lot.
All right, John. Take care, man.
That's all for today's episode, but you can go back and get 4 free books plus an unfathomable shitload of free resources and insider information at quittin6.com. Go register there now at quit, the letter N, and the number 6.com.
Here we go.